This is my second video previewing the World Championship match, which is about to take place in Astana, the capital of Kazakhstan. First game will be on the 9th of April. So this is between Nepomniachtchi and Liren. In the first video, I focused on the play of Nepomniachtchi. This time, it's Ding's turn. So he's a little bit younger than Nepo, so he's 30 years old. Feels like he's been on the scene for decades. It's not quite decades, but he did start very young and was very successful. At a young age, he became Chinese champion when he was still a teenager, and he's won the Chinese championship on 3 occasions, which in itself is quite a feat considering how strong they are as a nation. So he has been rated over 2800. But he's slipped a bit. You can see his live rating is 2788 and he is number 3 in the world. He qualified for the match by coming second in the candidates tournament in Madrid in 2022. So Nepo won it, of course, and he qualifies because basically Carlsen didn't want to defend his title. But that was a strange tournament for Ding. He lost in the first round to Nepo. This was the final position. Bishop h3 check. He got absolutely crunched in this game. If that's taken, then the king gets checked up the board. I mean, Ding had already resigned, but basically mate follows shortly in that position. So Ding lost that first game, and then had a string of draws, but he recovered in the second half of the tournament and ground out, for example, a beautiful win against Duda from this position. That is absolutely not easy. And he also won a long game against Caruana with white here. I mean, it's hard to imagine that black could possibly win this. In fact, Caruana was playing for the win and playing e5, but he overpressed, and well, Ding succeeded in winning this endgame. This was the final position, actually. So long games. This one was 78 moves, but Ding grounded out. But just when you thought, well, Ding could actually, win the tournament, he crashed against Raja. So Ding with white here played absolutely terribly. And after 21 moves, Rajabov crashed in with rook takes e3. And I mean, this was just such a horrible game. By the way, you can see this game in one of my past videos. I'll put all the links to past videos with the players in the video description. I mean, this was just awful. So, Ding started with a terrible game against Nepo. He lost this awful game to Rajabov. And yet he did manage to win 4 games as well, grinding down his opponents, including an extraordinary last round performance against Hikaru Nakamura. So Ding had white here, and he succeeded in defeating Nakamura from this position, which was an incredible achievement. And he just outplayed him. That was the final position with this bishop trapped. And, well, Ding's a pawn up with a completely dominating position. So Ding actually came second in the candidates tournament with 8 out of 14. And as I said, because Carlsen has declined to defend the title, then that's how he managed to qualify for this match against Nepo. So how has Ding played since the candidates tournaments? We know that Nepo has played very solidly and very well in the tournaments he's had. Ding, well, he hasn't played that much. This is the curious thing. He's played some online chess, some rapid chess. He's played a few classical games in the Chinese team championship. But his last classical tournament, and his only classical tournament since the candidates, was Tata Steel 2023, where he had a bit of a disaster. He won a really nice first round game against Gukesh, playing f5 here. Again, you can see that video. I've already recorded it. You can find the link down in the description. This was an absolutely crushing game by Ding. Played beautifully with initiative. But he lost some awful games. So he lost against Giri. Here Ding has a wonderful position. He played knight b1. And this knight is about to reroute to the outpost. But somehow, instead of just plunging straight in, he sort of slowed things down. Allowed Giri to find his feet. And this position not so clear anymore. And indeed, Giri turned this around and won convincingly by the end. And then Ding lost against Rapport. So Rapport with white here. Now, in this endgame, where black has the bishops, you would think that black is absolutely fine. And indeed, objectively, this position is just not a problem for black at all. And yet, Ding was outplayed. So that's pretty extraordinary. And then he was defeated by Pragnananda in a long endgame. That's the final position. So, it's his form is not great at the moment, it has to be said. But as we saw in the candidates, his big strength has been grinding people down in long games, actually. But it's in the complications where he's looked a little bit unsure of himself. I mean, one question is, has Ding got the stamina to play a World Championship match? Honestly, you can't underestimate or overestimate how much strength you need to play these World Championship matches. If you think back to the 1984 Karpov-Kasparov match, where Kasparov was in far better physical condition than Karpov, and Karpov, someone with a similar build to Ding, basically he couldn't last it. Now, we're not talking a 48-game marathon here, but it is really tough. So he better have done his endurance training, basically. So as I said, his strength at the moment seems to be outplaying his opponents in long games. But at the moment, Ding's play is strangely uneven. But the funny thing is, in the past, Ding has played absolutely brilliantly in complicated positions. So, for example, his game against Duda. Again, I covered this on the channel. This was an absolutely sensational game. Very complicated, and Ding succeeded with superb pawn sacrifice and, just set up a wonderful initiative. And then I also covered this game on the channel. This brilliancy. This was played in the Chinese team championship, where Ding sacked the queen and played rook d4. This was just an amazing game. So it's not like Ding can't handle complications. He's a brilliant calculator. But just recently, these curious losses in the candidates tournament and the Tata Steel, that seems a bit ominous. And just looking at the players, Nepo's play has been far more even, which actually, curiously, that was never Nepo's strength, but he really seems to have pulled himself together. So, which of the different Dings is going to turn up to this World Championship match? Are we going to see the Ding that is happy to go into complications and is capable of playing these brilliant attacks? Or are we just going to see the dry positional grinder that wins beautiful strategic games against, for example, Nakamura or against Duda? It's really hard to say. I mean, I think Ding seems to be much more of an unknown quantity than Nepo. But we shall see. We know that Ding is capable of some brilliant chess. So, well, I hope this is going to be a very even contest in the sense that, you know, both players will be able to land big punches. In the next video, I'll be looking at their head-to-head score. How have Nepo and Ding actually fared against each other? Thanks for watching.